long break. I hope you enjoy. And I hope I'm not going to sleep you, because this is the topic coming from an architect. It is interesting from my perspective, because architects generally don't do the operations. We talk, we draw, but then we skip the one part. And this is actually the part that I would like to talk, because of a very big incident we had in something around 3 years ago, but still valid, all these improvements. The main idea here is that at the end, I'm going to give 5 questions. You know, these type of magazines, 5 questions to predict whatever you like in the future. Will we reach? It is not like this. This is all the idea that we had that time and how we passed through it. And I miss this. And one thing I'm very thankful to you, because the part that I cannot reveal the company name, but it is similar size, a little bit more than this, 12 million more customers, because of the nature of the company. I cannot reveal, but you can see on my LinkedIn page. I'm coming from very much regulatory environment, so this is how I can do. And I'm Can, professionally, except working student time. I'm working for 17 years in the field, start as a distributed software engineer. And then last 12 years, more or less, I'm architect. I was enterprise architect in this story in a company. And I'm still applying the same principles that we built there. And we are gonna still apply it when we are doing the migrations, because we are also going to do the migration. This is all about this. Maybe not today, maybe not next month, but we are going to do the migration. Why? Because the data platforms are becoming context of the agents or the AIs. And the Iceberg is one of the technology probably we are going to follow. Why I'm saying this? Because I saw these all Hadoop times, vanilla Hadoop also, Cloudera, Hortonworks, and before it, and then all these cloud mania things going around. We need to put the objects onto the cloud without thinking ingress and egress costs. So this is going to be something standard. Maybe not today yet. It is still blowing right now, but it is going to be from my perspective. And today I'm going to talk about these Amber bugs as a success. There is also a color code in the presentation, which means the Amber ones are the things we thought we did great. The red ones, when you are going to see, we failed. We failed very heavily. And when we failed that, it is in the regulatory environment. And when it fails in that way, you need to also talk to the governmental offices to make the things right, because it is law, it is rule. All architectural decisions, everything starts from the what I call architectural fitness side. I like the Iceberg because it is tip or top of the decisions, fitness side. But below the waterline, there is also another part that we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss. And these parts, all check. You can say 12, you can say 14, you can say 20. It depends on you how you are going to evaluate. But everything, every slide's like, okay, this good, this good, this good. And you discuss with the vendor of the RFPs, etc., all these features. And it is okay. I mean, these slides and what I'm trying to tell is not something judging some parties. What I'm trying to say, it is not enough. There are two parts of this evaluation. And these are rough numbers. It was something around 40 point blah, blah, but the rough numbers that I was very new at the company, and principal architect was putting the slides on and saying that, hey, We tried with one of the POC. That is great. These are the numbers, and these are very good numbers to present. And all the other parts of the company was also in this presentation, and we were all happy, except me, because I'm coming from the operational perspective as an engineer. I'm not directly coming directly to the architecture, and I was also clapping because these are very good numbers. I mean, the 50% of down of such scale is millions of euros. So it is not something that you can just neglect. They don't think that there is also operation. No, these are good numbers. And week 6, before coming to week 6, I talked to the guy who did the presentation, and I asked, hey, do you also have operational readiness checklist for this one? He told me that we have the world's biggest 3 vendors. They know how to operate it. This Iceberg, the data platform around it. I said, okay. And the 6th week, everything was fine. It is some kind of a POC with a very big vendor that they are providing us a churn prediction based on the customer data. And their contract changed. The contract changed in a way that they are not going to provide the churn prediction, but smaller part of it. So we revoke all the accesses. Everything was nice. And from the Iceberg perspective, there's a catalog that you can easily manage the access. But we forgot one thing. Actually, everybody forgot one thing, that 2 years ago, before this, there was a key provided this vendor. And they can get the old objects with this key, with the SDK. And they build up their pipeline, their churn prediction, everything on this, because this is new. They are not following the catalogs or engine or something. They have something on their end. Nobody wants to disclaim, probably. I don't know. And 11th day, one of our engineers in the company realized that, hey, why these guys are reading these files? We changed their contract. They should not. Yes, they should not. And we missed this. And we missed this very heavily because this is personal data. This is your data. This is churn prediction. What is churn prediction? Just a quick information about it. I mean, will you stay as a customer? Of course, there are segments like 3 months, prediction, 6. Will you stay as a customer or not? In a basic sense. So we are using a lot of information about you. Of course, it is obfuscated. I don't know. I know that my data is not John, perfectly fine, but still a data.
I have a question. These reads, were some are random, or was there a pattern and someone was actually intentionally reading something to get the insights, whatever this insight might be? So what is the malicious intent from the vendor?
They are reading specific part of the data and for doing the churn prediction. And it is very limited. It is coming from regular hyperscaler thingy like I am. And they are very specific which buckets they are going to read. But they are still reading. They should not read.
So they didn't stop their system on their side?
Yeah, because everybody thought that when the revocation happens with the key, everything will stop. And the system is working in this way. The alerting, dashboards, based on this. Are they reading or not? Because there is no key that unauthorized access. Because there's a key and there's a dashboard. The main problem that we did one evaluation, but we needed 2. These 2 doesn't mean that this company is doing wrong or any other company, because this is happening all the time. I saw a lot of time. The one thing I would like to share before jumping what are these 2 evaluations, is what I'm talking about. This is very high level of it. And again, there's a color code. these 14 parts, we all know, yeah, we did great. But there are 3 parts here. We still know that there's such a technology. Nobody is something like ignorant. And we still know we need to manage, but there is no name in front of it. And when it is broken, there is no run book or operational book how we are going to manage it. We realize after this happened. That's the whole story of this presentation that I'm going to talk. We did all these ones and we realized the 3 thing we missed, all these checkboxes. And this is what I'm talking about. And I love the Iceberg as also name because it all actually fits my idea that here is a fitness. This is loud. What is loud? POC. You are doing POC. You are giving the requirements to your vendor, and the vendor is doing the POC and everything. If it is not fitting for your requirements, great. But vendor, I'm not targeting the vendors actually, but vendor will never discuss your organizational structure, which is also the parts of the operational readiness, your skill set, who is managing what is the team lead, who knows whom, who is going to have a matrix communication between. This is not the vendor job. This is your job to decide. And this is why I'm saying that this is the thing that your ship sings when it hits. And this is the thing, it is very loud. When you have a binocular or whatever, you will see it is coming. So you can block it. But this one, I'm not saying that everybody is missing. There are definitely the people who would like to take care of it. Actually, if you go to the operation, they will always scream. From pre-sales, it is coming to us. From product, it is coming to us. We all need to. But this part also parts of the evaluation. And vendor can answer these questions very easily, but they don't mandatorily need to design your organization and decide your organizational structure, how you are going to handle it. If the catalog is not working, who is going to deal with it? It is not the vendor job. It is your job. Your job means that not directly you maybe, but someone's job at the company. And it is something very high level because at the very beginning of the slides, what I mentioned, it is Iceberg ecosystem. But what we discuss, Iceberg is a specification. What is the ecosystem? That part is very interesting also from my career perspective because with the Iceberg, there's a specification and you are building environment around. It is not so common when you are building a data platform or however you would like to have as a name, data lake house, data lake, but for me, data platform. There's a specification as a kind of a product and you are building services around like engines, metadata chain. It comes with a product or not, if you want to deal with it, and how we are going to manage the snapshots, compression, some of them automatic, some of them not. And when it's automatic, it doesn't mean that it is going to work all the time. You don't need to monitor. Or if it is a managed service, it is still a relationship of the operation. So there is one thing very important happened on May from the Iceberg perspective. It is 1.11. I always call them when the new technologies reach in a place, then people will begin to think what is the underline of the waterline. It is also happening right now. It is happening with the Iceberg right now. And because the specification is open source and it is now mature enough, of course, there can be additional, etc., involvement, definitely. But also at the very beginning, what Victor also mentioned, the evaluation around the Iceberg is going below the waterline, not the top part. Top part is enough, what we need to have at the moment.
but it is going to evolve because of these AI requirements, etc. He also mentioned at the very beginning how we are going to connect. Maybe it is going to come with some default feature set. And the catalog side, it is also evolving from the below the waterline perspective, because the catalog is not anymore that you are just querying which data is where, because at that time it was like this. When I was doing for the first time, it was like this. It is just kind of a what we call in the operation dispatcher, like, I want this table, okay, let me search for it. So there is no very detailed governance perspective. Still, you need to manage yourself. But it is changing. It is not only the REST anymore. It is going more below the waterline. And this is true movement. So, fancy 5 questions. The first one, who gets paid for the new failure classes? Or very famous one, if you are using LLM, I'm seeing LinkedIn all the time, who is going to deal with it at 3 a.m.? This is the first question. And there are several things that I write. It also depends on your organization and how you are going to deal with it. What is the degraded mode in numbers and who declares it? This is very important because you think that it is the responsibility of the cloud team. Please. You believe it is the responsibility of the cloud team, something infrastructure team. Oh, no, it is IAM, it is security. Let's write it down. Who is going to declare if there's a problem? And the third one, it is more questionable because this is not my first time that I'm telling this. Does the team have below the waterline skills? This is the best architectural thingy, because when you are asking an architect, hey, how can you do this? The answer is always, it depends. Because there are other things that you need to evaluate before a decision. This is also the same. This is the part that as you in the organization can decide. Maybe it is free dive without oxygen. Maybe it is just a scuba diving. Maybe it is just a swimming, sometimes diving and splashing the water to each other. It depends on how complexity in your organization. And the 4 and 5, who owns the table maintenance system? Disclaimer, managed service is not an answer, because managed service still requires monitoring. You cannot just blindly believe that it is going to work all the time, because it is not. Every hyperscaler, you are going to face with it. This is why we still have the job also from the operational perspective, that they are going to fail, and which is perfectly fine. You know, the GitHub also failing some, it was available to like 88%. Their CTO also wrote a public letter. Anyway, how many access control planes, which is the source of truth, and what detects the drift? This is very important if you are coming from a data warehouse time, because it was so easy. I work with these level of Oracle clusters. All the level is full of machines, and it was still a one control plane that who is going to access the database. But now you have at least 3. It depends on how complex your architecture and doing the migration, because migration will never be big bang, like one shot, everything is Iceberg right now. No, you are going to maintain the legacy system also. So how you are going to number, it is also your decision. What I am doing is there should not be 0, not at all, in any parts. And if you are scoring this more than 8, you have a plan, not the fantasy. And it is okay. It will never be a perfect plan. It is not possible in tech. And lastly, this is my favorite saying, a modern architecture on an unprepared operating model is technical debt with better marketing. And this marketing is not coming from the vendor. This marketing is not coming from their sales. It is coming from your internal members. Because when you are presenting something with only architectural fitness, you are also marketing something technical debt, because if you are not doing the below the waterline. Thank you very much.
All right. Any questions? Seems to be not the case. Then, John, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.